Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. It is Friday, February 8th. Wanted to highlight the top 10 or the hot 10 list brought to you by CBSI, comicbookinvest.com. Yeah, let's go over the list. I'm showing off this book here. This is The Rejected #1, which came out a while ago, sometime last year, I think middle of last year. It was a very low print run book. The first print was definitely a hot book. I think it's still a $40, $50 book. And then they reprinted it. The second print, I think, was even lower print run, and it caught a lot of people by surprise. And that's also, a decent book for the second printing, and it's got a really cool cover. So I kind of like The Rejected. I mean, it's a cool story. I could definitely see it being made into a movie or option for something at some point. And I'm a really big fan of the Matina cover, showing the Batman who laughs, pulling the cheek of Robin. So when I saw this, I don't know, it was on either eBay or I was looking at some store variants. I knew there was a new Rejected coming out called The Unwilling, and they have some homages to the It movie. So there's some cool covers on that, and I just saw this one, and I looked it up on eBay, and most of them were like $75 to $80 for this, and I found somebody that had it listed for $40, so or maybe $45, and I got it for $40. So it's a pretty cool book. It is very limited in print run. It is a store exclusive. Big Time Collectibles is the one that produced this. And you can see here, there's only 100 of these made. So it is a limited print run. Very low, obviously. Only 100 copies of this exist. So I don't know if this will ever be worth a lot of money. It looks like it's worth more than I paid for it. Most of the copies on eBay right now are $60, $70, $80 or more. So it's pretty cool. I like having it. I'm a big fan of the story, and I'm a huge fan of this cover, especially the original Matina. The Matina cover is better, in my opinion, but this is kind of a cool homage to that. So yeah, wanted to highlight that book. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's jump into the top 10 list here, starting with, let me get into it here, sorry. Here we are. Start off with number 9. So number 9 is a book called Magical Beatdown. I looked at this. I easily could have bought a copy on Midtown on Wednesday. I saw this on there, and I don't know. I read the premise of the story. It just didn't really appeal to me. But it's a $15 book, and this was a little bit more expensive too. I think it was a $6 or $7 book, so it was a little bit more than the typical $2.99 or $3.99 books. But it just didn't. The story premise didn't really appeal to me. But it's a lower print run, and there's enough demand for it, so it's a $15 book now. Obviously, I guess I wish I'd picked it up. I probably would have just resold it though. So I don't think it's one that I would have kept in the personal collection. All right, moving on to number 9. Now this is a pretty cool book. These Savage Shores #3. I love the cover, the colors, the purple. It's just really cool. Really cool monster type cover. I do have issue #1 second printing. I don't have a first print of #1 or #2, and so far I've not been able to find it on eBay, so it's probably a tough book to get. It might be worth picking up for a for a good long-term hold, but yeah, this right now is going between $10 and $15, and Vault Comics, not a big publisher. Some of the stores I go to don't even carry their books. You know, it's just a lower print run. Really cool book, though. I mean, I did like the first issue that I read, so I just need to pick up the first print of number 1 and try to find a first print of number 2 if I can. So moving on, number 8 on the list, Motor Girl number 1. This is writer-artist Terry Moore. I believe Terry Moore was the original artist on The Walking Dead. I could be wrong about that, but I think he was. I guess the reason this book's moving is he's writing the script for Hulu, for a show that's going to be on Hulu. And this jumped to $15. I don't remember this book. I'm pretty sure I don't have it in my collection. But if you've got it, congratulations. This was probably a cover price book that is now at $15, so not bad. Number 7 on the list, Harley Quinn number 58. This is the Derek Chew variant. Pretty cool cover. It's a landscape cover, and you don't see a ton of those. And it's going for $10. Basically double cover price. I found a bunch of them at my local comic book shop, so it's not like they had didn't have any available. I think at least the comic book shop owner ordered enough on it, so he had probably 10, 12 copies available when I was there. I'm sure he's sold out now, though. I mean, I think a lot of people are chasing down this book. So yeah, if you're a Derek Chew fan, that would be a cool book to track down. And it seems to be doing well in the aftermarket. Number 6 on the list, Star Trek Q Conflict number 1. This is the Woodward 1 in 25 variant. Kind of a basic cover. When I saw the cover at first, I thought it might be a Brad Street cover, because he kind of has that realistic drawing style. But it's a low print run, It sold out very quickly on Midtown, and I don't know any shops that got this book. So, mainly because Star Trek is not a big seller, right? You'd have to order 25 copies of this book, of this title, which I don't think any shop's going to do. Midtown probably only had 2 copies of this, and they order thousands of books every week, typically. So, yeah, it says sales have been in the $55 to $60 range. That is inaccurate. I checked the last couple days, and there wasn't any for sale until today, and it's $100. And I think it's an auction too, so I don't know. This book's worth way more than $55, $60. So I think CBSI is a little behind on that book. Number 5 on the list, Detective Comics 854. There's a first print and a second print. They're all going up right now. First print's going for $10 to $15, and I guess a 9/8 sold for over $100. All of this is because of the casting of the villain Alice for the Batwoman show. So again, another entertainment-related reason why the book's going up. I don't think I have that in my collection. I had a lot of Batman, but I didn't collect a lot of Detective, and obviously I wish I had. I mean, I would have loved to have had that Black Mirror series, and I meant to buy that a couple years ago. I was looking at it around $160 to $180 and didn't pull the trigger, and yeah, I kind of wish I had, because $880 is at least a $200 book now in raw condition, so yeah, kind of missed out on that. Number 4 on the list, Dolphin number 79. This is an older book, and I don't really know why it's on here, other than, okay, there was a sale at $1,500. There's probably a very, very thin market that cares about some of these older books. Most people have never heard of this title. Literally, there's probably less than 500 people in the United States that care about this book. So, be careful buying these obscure comic books that, yeah, they have value at the moment, but, 5, 10 years from now, yeah, they might be scarce. I mean, there's some scarcity to them, and I guess if there's enough people out there that are hunting for that book, it could stay hot. But I don't know, $1,500. I'd rather go take that money and go buy something that is actually of significance, not Dolphin number. I mean, showcase number 79. I guess first appearance of Dolphin maybe. Potentially in the next Aquaman movie. I don't know. Big deal. I don't know. I think that's stupid. Number 3, Cerebus, the Aardvark, number 1. This has been an expensive book for a long time. I kind of agree with the comments. I don't exactly understand what the appeal of this book is. I mean, it is one of the first independent books, right? I think it might be the first independent book. It came out back in the early 80s, I'm going to say. Very low print run, especially for the first print. There was some recent sales here. A 7.5 went for $1,400 and a 4.0 went for $380. And they do give you a warning. Don't buy it raw. There's a lot of fakes out there. Apparently there was a lot of reprinting of this book or counterfeiting of the book. Nothing I would be interested in. I do like some of the later Cerebus books because of the cover artwork. There was some really good detail that went into some of the later covers, but the early issues, in my opinion, the artwork is horrible. Story's weak. Dave Sim definitely was an amateur when he first started. He got a lot better as far as the story arcs, but I'd say the first 50 issues are pretty weak, in my opinion. I read them, and they were nothing to write home about. But it's historical significance because of it is the first independent comic book, and there is some reason for that, for the significance of that. Number 2, Immortal Hulk, number 2. I'm glad to see this book on there. I do own this book myself. I bought this online for $20. Pretty good buy. This was, not too long after it first came out. First appearance of Dr. Fry. So CBSI says, why do we care so much about Dr. Fry? Well, it's not that it's not Dr. Fry. It is a first appearance of that character, but it's really the whole series. The whole series is fantastic. It is easily one of the better written books by Marvel. I would put it up there with anything Donny Cates has done. I think Al Ewing has done a fantastic job. The artwork by Bennett is pretty good. It's decent. It's not my favorite style of artwork, but he does a good job in rendering the story. So I do love this book, and I love the cover. I mean, I think this is one of Zaffino's best covers he's ever done. So would I go out and spend $150 on this book right now? No, probably not. But if this ever came down to $50, $60, even $70, I think it would be a good buy in that range. Definitely not $150. Since I already own the book, I probably wouldn't pursue this anymore. But if you don't own that book and you want to have a significant book from that run, this is probably going to be the most expensive and significant book from that entire Immortal Hulk run. So yeah, that's the reason it's $150. It's not because of Dr. Fry. It's because it's a great series, and that book is hot because of that. Number 1 on the list, Amazing Spider-Man number 13. First appearance of Mysterio. Obviously, we know that he's going to be in the next Spider-Man movie that comes out, I think, in another month or two. Jake Gyllenhaal is playing Mysterio, and he's a good actor. I think he'll do a good job. This is an older book. I don't know what I remember looking at 6 to 7 O's on this raw, and it's $400, $500, $600. That was probably 6 months ago. So yeah, this is probably, in really decent grade, well over $1,000, I'm sure at this point. So, and it's a cool cover. I mean, I like it. It's one of the better Amazing Spider-Man covers from that earlier period. So yeah, if you're a big Amazing Spider-Man fan, this would be maybe on your radar. It's not really on my radar. I don't dislike it. I'm just not pursuing that title. So yeah, there's a lot of collectors out there that want to own a lot of or try to collect all the Amazing Spider-Man issues. Man, that's a daunting task and a very expensive task. So I do have some decent Amazing Spider-Man issues, but nothing that early. I think the earliest issue I have is like maybe issue 84, 85, something like that. So yeah, that's, if you're a big Amazing Spider-Man fan, and I don't think I would chase it at this point with the movie coming out. The value right now is kind of spiking. So, if you're smart, maybe wait for the movie to be out of the theaters and the hype to die down a little bit. I want to kind of also, real quick, talking about Immortal Hulk. I think there could be some significance to the Immortal Hulk, the death of the Hulk. So that happened in Civil War. Civil War II, number 3. So let me pull up the images on that. So the main image is you've got the Hulk there holding Iron Man. Definitely a very cool image. I like it. Oops. Yeah, so number 3 would be, pretty good spec to pick that up. Here's some variants. There's the Hawkeye variant, right? About to shoot Bruce Banner. So this is technically the death of Bruce Banner, right? In issue number 3. Yeah, there's a full cover. That's cover A. Darn it. The one I just showed you, that is a Phil Noto cover. I think that's a 1 in 10 variant. You can buy these pretty cheap right now. I went on eBay and I picked up a whole set of the variants and the cover A for like $15 or something. I mean, it's way less than cover, which is crazy. You've also got a cover D, yeah. So this is I think this is a 1 in 10 as well, or a 1 in 20. It's a ratioed variant. Civil War number 2, number 3. This is the Cho variant. So that might be worth picking up. I know there's a bunch of variants too. There's a midnight release variant by Quesada. I think this is it. I think it's just a black cover. Yeah, it comes in a poly bag. I think that's the midnight release. Yeah, midnight launch variant, poly bagged. So you've got that one. There's a couple more. Where is there? I'm trying to pull this up. Yeah, this is like a sketch cover. That was also one of the covers, which is cool, showing Daredevil, Captain America, and Mighty Thor. So there's several, I think there's 6 or 7 covers of this book, and it might be worth picking them up. Like I said, I went on eBay today and I got like 4 or 5 covers of issue number 3 for like $15. I mean, it was crazy. I was paying less than cover price for each one. So I don't know. I mean, this is a book that could get hot because of the Immortal Hulk series, and it is the death of Bruce Banner. They're kind of, I think they're going to make a movie out of it, or they could easily make a movie out of that. It's compelling enough, and it's kind of a major part of the Hulk story. So I think it's underrated. I think that's a book that you want to pick up, at least the A cover. You might find it in your local shop, probably for cover price or less, maybe. I don't think it'll be in a dollar bin, but a lot of shops will have that maybe listed for just standard cover price or maybe slightly above. So that's kind of my spec pick, I suppose, for the week is Civil War number 2, Civil War 2 number 3. I got this tip from my good friend Jim's Comics, so I know he's going to be doing a video He's got way more subscribers than I do. So if you happen to watch this video before his subscribers do, you might be able to get this book before it spikes in price, because I guarantee as soon as he does this video, this book is going to be sold out online for anywhere near cover. It's going to be gone. So I've literally seen Jim's Comics channel move a book dramatically. The one that comes to mind was last year. He highlighted Carnage Mind Bomb because it came out that Cates was basically going to bring back Carnage in a special way. And he had also mentioned that Cates had mentioned that Carnage Mind Bomb was one of his favorite comic books when he read when he was a kid. And that book went nuts. I mean, it went from a $15, $20, $25 book to like $100 because of Jim's channel. I mean, directly because of Jim's channel. I literally watched within 24 hours him posting that video, and watched all of the issues on eBay were sold out basically that day or by the next day. So yeah, that's my spec pick. It's really Jim Comics spec pick, but I figure for my small amount of subscribers, I'd give you maybe a little jump start on that. Jim's got thousands of subscribers, so they're going to be on top of that as well. So yeah, look for that book maybe in your local comic book shop. Maybe you can find it online, eBay. I'm sure there were plenty on eBay for cover price. I mean, more than a dozen listings that I looked at today. So I don't think you'll have any problem picking this up for a cheap price. But that's all I had. Mainly wanted to go over that top 10 list. If you guys would please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, hit the bell for notifications, and please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the top 10 list. Let me know what you think about the Civil War book, number 3, if you think that's worth going after. All right, guys, I'll probably post another video this weekend, maybe highlighting some comic book news or anything else that's coming up that looks interesting. And if not, I will see you next Wednesday for Comic Book Day. Thanks.